Hey guys, it's Tuesday, so it's my self-care day, just like last week. And this week I actually have a mount for my phone thanks to my brother who watched my video last week and was like, you need a mount. So he got me a mount. Thank you, that was very sweet. I'm driving because I'm running a little bit behind, so I went ahead and started the video while I'm driving, and I've never done this before. Anyhow, today for self-care, I went and got my nails done, which I love. That's something I do to treat myself. The nails can be very handy, using them as tools and weapons. Melissa at Diamond Nails in Eastgate has been my nail lady for about 10 years, and I see her once a month, and she takes care of my hands for me. And now I'm pulling into my therapy session with my therapist, and her name is Cimbria Hess. I started coming to see her when I was 19, and then off and on over the course of 20 years. You know, as your insurance changes, sometimes you have to find somebody else, or, you know, I'm sure I took some years off here and there. I saw some other really good therapists during that time, but now I'm back with Cimbria. And I just love her so much. I think about her, and I look forward to our talks because she helps me a lot. She helps me so much. I try to come every 2 weeks, but that sometimes is pushing it, so it's at minimum once a month that I come to see my therapist. So now I'm sitting here parked outside the building. Starts in 5 minutes, so we'll try to make this quick. But yeah, so why do I go to therapy? I go to therapy because I need to go to therapy, because I have issues and things that I have to work on in my life, personally, but also professionally, because as you can imagine, I am listening and being emotionally intimate during moments as people are sharing traumatic experiences with me. And that takes a toll. It wears me down, and it also makes me angry because I hear stories of injustice, and I get really pissed, that the bad guys don't get what they deserve. I get pissed about clients who are trying their hardest and doing their best, and they're good people, and they're struggling, and it just seems like life throws all these hurdles at them, and just when things are going okay, then something else bad will happen, usually related to generational poverty. But anyway, so, you can just picture people's stories as being tragic sometimes, and so that can lead to me having vicarious trauma, is what they call it. But also, I'm fucking pissed. I'm angry, right? I'm so mad all the time because I don't know. I'm tired of people hurting other people. So that makes me mad. Anyway, so that's kind of why I go to therapy, is to work on my personal issues, but also to help me stay fresh and healthy, so I can be the best therapist that I can be for my clients. Because if I'm worn down and I'm traumatized or distracted, or if I'm getting too emotionally, engaged, then I'm not my best therapist self. So I have to do a lot of self-care, and then coming to therapy is part of that. Why am I talking? Oh, looks like it went offline there for a second. I'm talking about self-care because I have a webinar coming up, like I've been plugging, and I keep saying it's January 22nd, but it's not. It's January 23rd. So January 23rd at 8 p.m. The website is called lovefraud.com, and the webinar is called Self-Care for Survivors, and it's about an hour long. And that'll be January 23rd. So that's why I am showing you what I do for self-care on my Self-Care Tuesdays, is to plug my self-care webinar. So I go to therapy to work on my personal issues and also to help me remain, and maintain a freshness so that I can be a good therapist. And my approach to going to therapy is to be organized about it. I try to have a list of things. I have a list on my phone that I keep, and as something comes up, I jot it down on the list on my phone so that when I go into therapy, I know what it is that I want to spend my time on. I also kind of, keep track of my goals and things I'm trying to achieve. So I try to be organized about therapy as best I can. But sometimes I just like to chat with my therapist. We just get to talking about stuff, and she, she's an interesting person and very smart, and I like to hear what she has to say. I respect her a lot. So, we're not always working all the time, but I'm the type of client, and probably the type of therapist too, that likes to use therapy as sort of like a working session where we're looking at problems or issues or patterns or behaviors, things that we need to address and fix or learn about. Maybe you have a new diagnosis, or maybe you're trying to figure out why trauma continues to be an issue for you, PTSD, that kind of stuff, so she teaches me about things. She teaches me about the brain. She teaches me about behavior. And while I know a lot, she's been doing it for 30 years, right? So she's way smarter than me, and she's way more experienced than me, and so she has a lot of great information that to offer. It's very valuable. So I try to stay organized as best I can, and the types of things that I talk about are, so like today I'm planning to talk about last week my son had to go to the emergency room. He's fine, everything's okay, but that was traumatic, and I haven't really allowed myself to feel about it yet. I've just kept going and soldiering on, and I haven't taken the time to like sit down and let the emotions come out of how scary it was, and that kind of thing. So I'll probably wind up telling her the story of what happened as a way of processing my trauma, and by telling the story, that takes sort of the power away from the trauma when you get it out. So that's my plan of what I'm going to talk about here. And well, right now I gotta go because it's time. Okay, all right, going to therapy, self-care. Bye guys.